Hi there, and welcome back to Amaize Health, your journey to amazing health. So, this week we are continuing the hypertension or high blood pressure conversation. We're talking about ways that you can decrease your blood pressure through modifying things that you do in your lifestyle. I've mentioned before exercise and changing your diet. So, exercising is aerobic exercise for at least 150 minutes per week. That's 30 minutes for 5 days out of the week. Now, something as simple as walking can be considered the exercise that you need. However, when you're walking, you want to make sure that you're not able to carry out a full conversation while you're doing that walk. Because if you're able to, it means you're not increasing your heart rate enough and you're not getting enough out of that walk. So walk to the point where you are not able to carry out a full conversation. Then you want to decrease the salts in your diet. I mentioned before about avoiding processed foods, decreasing the amount of fast foods that you're having. If you're going to have fast foods, choose the healthier options, the salads, and I know you don't want to, but try it, or the grilled options. Some of those can still have high salt content, so be careful. And then you want to cook your meals at home, but pay attention to the amount of salt that's in the seasonings that you're having. Now, you want to avoid the things that say little salts like seasoned salts or onion or garlic salts. Those are things that you do not want to have. If you want to use onion powder or garlic powder, but not onion salt or garlic salt. Also, you want to be aware of other foods that might have salt. So if you're eating chips, if you can see the salt crystals, that's too much salt. What I do, I tend to wash them off. You may not like it that way, but honestly, it's actually still pretty good and still crunchy. I just do it very quickly and then I eat it. Maybe I'll do a demonstration on that later. The other things are avoiding like canned foods, because a lot of canned foods are high sodium content, but you can choose the low sodium versions if you must have canned foods. Then frozen or packaged meals are often the kinds of processed foods that I'm talking about. Those tend to have high salt. So if you are to have these things, make sure you're selecting the low sodium options and that you're not doing it all the time. And then you want to avoid having high sodium dairy products. Some of these can include like most cheeses, like cottage cheese or processed cheese spreads. So those are things that you really want to avoid. Now, join me next week as we get into it when we have our Q&A at 8 p.m. on Monday. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about high blood pressure. Let's talk about ways to avoid it. Let's get that conversation started. Join me next week, Monday at 8 p.m. Have a wonderful week.